In this demo, we're going to be looking at the risk classifier tool of the StackAware Model Context Protocol server. So bottom line, this tool lets you classify plain text descriptions of risks or incidents in a consistent terminology, which is available to all StackAware customers. And basically what we're doing is we're using OpenAI in this case, but you don't need to use OpenAI. You can use any AI client that supports Model Context Protocol, but we're going to use OpenAI in this demo. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a MCP server, add another, and then I'm going to grab the streaming endpoint for our MCP server, which is available in our documentation. I'll call it, StackAware MCP. And we'll leave that blank. And then we're going to add an auth token here, which is the same token used for the API. And we're going to connect. And what we've done is connected to the server, and it has a variety of tools available. The fetch and search tools are required by the OpenAI schema, and they don't currently do anything. The risk tool is described in another demo video, but we're going to do risk classifier. And just to make things simple, we're going to deselect everything except for the risk classifier tool. We're going to add it. And basically, what we can do is say, recently an AI system produced an inaccurate response to a user inquiry. Please classify this risk. So what the assistant is doing, it's thinking here, and then it is going to request to use the StackAware risk classifier tool. And in the request, it's not actually sending anything because it doesn't need to. What it's doing is essentially pulling the entire database back to the client because it's not actually that big. So we're going to approve this request, and then it's going to evaluate the results of that call, and it's going to give us an answer. So we should have that shortly when it is done thinking. Okay, boom, there we go. So it has returned the ID, title, and description of the relevant risk, which is unwitting, undesired output. And just as a reference, what we can do is show on the StackAware risk taxonomy where we're looking as well. So I'm going to pull this sheet in, which just shows us how we're representing these risks. This is a full list of risks you can get publicly available. And if we go down to 16, we see unwitting, undesired input, and the description is here. So what we did was take a given risk or incident, and then we classified it using the StackAware MCP server. I'll just give you one more example and see if we can get a good response. So we can say, I accidentally provided sensitive information to ChatGPT and believe the model was trained on the data. Please classify this risk. And then we'll see what the assistant says here. It's thinking pretty hard on this one. So this workflow would be useful for incident responders, for SOCs, for organizations like that. And now we do have our response, which is unintended training, and it gives a description of unintended training. And I believe this is the correct classification of this incident. So yeah, there you have it. That's the risk classifier tool of the StackAware Model Context Protocol server.